thrown into confusion. All the world I thought was true, it's nothing but illusion. So now I'm a liar, I'm a loser, I'm a bastard and abuser, and I'm wondering how much slower can I go. I've been beaten, I've been bloodied, I've been broken and betrayed. Wondering how much slower can I go. Even though I know it's wrong, I wish my pain upon the world. I curse the lives of lucky men. Into this hell I hope they're hurled. I was once a good man, now I'm living in this hell. 'Cause I'm a liar, I'm a boozer, I'm a bastard and abuser, and I'm wondering how much lower can I go. I've been beaten, I've been bloodied, I've been broken and betrayed, and I'm wondering how much lower can I go. So I'm wondering how much lower can I go.
Yo! That was awkward. The music ended before the robot dance was done today. What's going on, Boot, Tyler, Love and Win, Crypto Shock, Marty? What's going on, guys? Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Now it's a week to receive where we get better opportunities, or are we going to see a little bit of bounce this week? That's the big question everyone has, and everyone's going to guess and all the fun stuff. Crypto Shock! What's up, buddy? John said, are we going to dump today? You actually have, at least at the moment, we actually have the S&P and the NASDAQ actually getting a little bit of bounce after hours. But we've seen that a few Mondays, where we get a little bit of a green in the pre-market, and then it dumps for the rest of the day. So we'll see. Hamilton, what's going on, bro? Griff, Scotty Swing, what's going on, fellas? Silly Willy, Crypto Shock. We already saw Tristan. What's going on, guys? It was an awkward music this morning. The music kind of stopped, and there was still 20 seconds left to go in the intro. we gotta time that a little better over here. I gotta tell the producer to just kidding. I don't have a producer. I'm the producer, the editor, the person who pushes buttons, the talker, the charter. I'm everyone. You know what I'm saying? What's up, Joe? Franco said, Jordan, please topless treadmill. You won't see me doing a topless stream. No, you won't see me doing that. At some point, you'll see me do a hot tub stream. So if you're interested in seeing me in the hot tub, you better stick around during this time, because the hot tub stream is coming. We said when Bitcoin breaks all-time highs, the hot tub stream is coming. That probably, if it's going to be like the previous cycles, that probably won't be for at least another year. But the hot tub stream is freaking coming. You know what I'm saying? Clem, the makeup guy. Yeah, I'm my own makeup guy too. I've actually never seen anyone else put makeup on. I've seen George put makeup on before that show that he does, which, listen, even if I'm on a show, I ain't putting makeup on, man. I don't really care what I look like that much. You know what I mean? I'm not putting makeup on before a live stream. It doesn't even make any sense. Hot tub is a top signal. It is, Tyler. You already know that we'll be taking profits before the hot tub stream. You know what I mean? Like, you already know what it is. B-ball stream. Exactly. Who else we got in here? We got said John. He converted a bunch of Maker, hoping it bottomed out for now and make some good dough. Shout out to John, man. Shout out to John. Dimitri said bikini stream. Oh my god. That would be a horrible sight. That would be a good one for a failed bet, right? We do the bikini stream. That would be fantastic. Anyways, let's talk some stuff, guys. So obviously last week was a little bit of a doozy. We got sort of a red week, and I guess I kind of jinxed the market because I said I hope the market gets a little bit of red this week so we get some better opportunities. We got some red, a little bit more than we expected, which sometimes that's the way the cookie crumbles, right, in the short term. But now we kind of zoom out to the weekly, and we're back in our 50 moving average band, which we've talked about many times, is like the 50 moving average band. When you're above it, you're bullish. When you're below it, you're bearish. We're now inside of it, which makes me kind of neutral at the current moment. But, obviously this is a weekly chart. Like, what happens in the immediate short term, who the frick knows? But I'll say this. We talked a little bit about this trend line yesterday, and I kind of want to go over it again. To me, the way I look at this chart and, kind of what we did last cycle, I think at some point you're going to see this trend line get hit. Now, when someone says that, that necessarily doesn't mean that you're going to dump into the trend line. That just means that you go sideways into the trend line. I think before we go up, like significantly, I'm talking, 50, 60, 70K BTC, I think it would make sense, kind of like what we did over here during this COVID crash, to retest this trend line again. Once again, it doesn't mean we have to capitulate this week into that trend line, kind of like what we did over here. See, we bounced off of it here, came up, we came down, eventually, big COVID crash, boom, hit the trend line, closed on it, bounced. I think this trend line, kind of looked like since 2017 here, we've been holding this nicely. We actually gotten like 8 bounces off of it. Obviously there's the first scenario we talked about yesterday, which is just the market's in shambles. We got maybe a few more weeks of freaking just doom, and we get a big capitulation event into that trend line, which I've said, I think that is the buy opportunity. Like that is like the equivalent of the COVID crash buy opportunity, where you see a massive crash. Like over here, Bitcoin dumped 62%, right? If we take the top to the bottom, this would mean Bitcoin would dump like 40%. But still, like, considering the market cap's higher, you're obviously going to see less volatility. That would be like the buy opportunity, crazy buy opportunity right there. If you just saw massive capitulation to that trend line. The other scenario is we actually bounce here, which I think is also a scenario too. But then we end up kind of just like moseying sideways like this until we eventually hit this trend line at some point, and then we start to get the move up. And that would kind of line up with like the halving if we just went sideways until the halving, which I also think is the scenario too. So kind of the way we're looking at this is, I think before we go higher, I think we'll tap this trend line. It's just, do we go, down, or do we go sideways into it? Or we could do both. We could slow bleed into it, which would be the worst scenario. But, that's something I am taking an eye on, and I'm going to be, if we tap this trend line, that's going to be a huge buy opportunity, right? So kind of waiting for that. If we don't get it, that's fine at the end of the day. What's going on, Mike? What's going on, Boot? Let's see. Tyler said, make sure you buy every major dip like these. I've been waiting for this. Yeah, the big capitulation dips are usually the best buys, right? We've seen that the whole year this year. Every one of them seems different, right? It always seems different. Like, oh, this big sell-off just seemed worse than the other ones. And actually, this one, compared to some of these other sell-offs, it's actually less, which is funny, right? So the FTX crash was more. The banking crisis crash was more. And actually, this one was about the same. It was more of a slow bleed, though. So, yeah, I'd say that. And that's kind of the way I'm looking for Bitcoin. I think if Bitcoin dips up under 25K again, I'm looking that's when I'm going to start really heavy DCAing into Bitcoin again. Just because I think at that point, I've seen many people just looking for buy opportunities, 20K, 21K. That's where like a lot of people are looking, 21K, 20K. And I think under 25, that's when I'm going to start DCAing into Bitcoin heavy again. I already said this. I'm happy with my Bitcoin position. I'm cool with it. Like I said, if we go in a bull market right now, I'm cool with my position. But I'll only look to add on big capitulations. And anything under 25 would be a big capitulation. So that's my thought process on Bitcoin. If we go up, cool. If we don't, it's just better opportunities. Because listen, ain't no one in here selling under 40K anyways. Let's be honest. You know what I mean? Like, let's be freaking honest. Most peeps aren't going to be selling under 40K anyway. So what do we care what Bitcoin is at this current moment? It shouldn't matter. You ain't going to sell if Bitcoin's at 20K or 40K right now anyways. Right? So just como sa. And then the altcoin market, right? These L1s that we've been talking about, I think these are the sign of where altcoins are, I think. And you're seeing these dip back down at the beginning of the week. Like AVAX. Looks like it's going to break that low. We've been talking about that. AVAX looks like it's going to break that low. We've been talking about, say Polkadot. I think it's going to come and break this low. I think, what's another one? Because honestly, these are the charts that make the most sense to me. Near has already broken the low. So Near's already broken the low. Still could dip a little bit more. What's another one? BNB looks like it wants to break that low. But the thing about breaking those lows, like so Cardano, right? The thing about breaking these lows is then you have the Wyckoff structure, right? You have the first low, you have the second low, you dip back down. If you break these lows, which I actually want to see, I want to see these lows taken out, fellas. If we break these lows and we come back in, boom, then all of a sudden a lot of these L1s that I know everyone loves the L1s. Everyone loves Cardano, AVAX, Polkadot, all the Dino coins. Let's be honest. Everyone loves those ones. And that'll be a big sign of whether retail wants to step in right here, right? On that dip, you come back up, then you got 1, 2, 3, boom, we come back up. And if we hold here, boom, then we got the Wyckoff structure like many other ones already had, right? So that's kind of the way I'm looking at the market right now. I think the L1s tell the story. They're weak as shit. And they're probably going to smack these lows. I can't see them just holding these lows out, right? But I've always said this. Sometimes capitulation is bullish. Sometimes capitulation is bullish, fellas. Let's see. I thought you were quitting. No. Basically, I'm going to stream whenever I'm not busy, right? Listen, I started doing this stream for fun. I want to do it for fun. I'm going to do it when I'm not busy. You know what I mean? I have to get back to that. Mason said, what alts will you touch and what will you avoid? What alts will I touch? I've told you the ones that I like.
What
Basically,
alts will you
I
touch
think
and
people
what will
overthink the
you
whole coin
avoid?
market, man. Just look at the ones that are low at the bottom of ranges, and if you like it, go for it. Right? I think people overthink it a little bit. Like there's like a mid curve, right, where it's like this, right? You guys seen these memes before, where you got the people doing like mathematics and calculations on tokenomics and bullshit fundamentals right here. You got those people. And then you got people who just say, this project's low, I like this or this project has a nice range, I like this project. It's at the bottom of the range. You got those peeps, and then you got the more risky peeps saying, you know, this project does da 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 da, or this project does nothing good. People hate this project. I'm gonna get in this project. And then you got the mid curve peeps that think way too hard about this shit. You know what I mean? It's like, I've always said this, man. The best performers last bull market were Doge and Shiba. Literally the epicenter of the right curve people. But anyways, let's see. Rick said, "Let's go. Time for an up move." Yeah, maybe. Listen, guys, we gotta, right? We gotta think about this logically, okay? It doesn't really matter where we go in the short term. I think we care about this too much, you know? Who cares? And honestly, I want better prices, man. I want better prices because, listen, no one really with a logical mind thought we were going into a bull run this year, right? We might have thought we're going slightly higher. Maybe we talked about 40Ks and whatever. But did anyone really think we're going to a bull run this year? No. The assumption has been whether Bitcoin goes up or down then up, we probably should be somewhere in like the low 30Ks by the halving, right? We didn't know how we're going to get there. No idea how we're going to get there. I still think, you know, when April comes around next year, Bitcoin's going to be at 31K. What happens before then, it doesn't really matter because you ain't selling anyways. You know what I mean? So, you know, I still think we're going to be somewhere in this range because that's where the two cycles have been before at the halving, right? Halving one was right here. Halving two was right here. This is probably where we end up right here next year at the halving. 8 months from now. It would not shock me if Bitcoin's sitting right at 31K, right? So that's why I'm looking at the market and I say, okay, Bitcoin's dropping again. I can start DCAing, you know, you can start DCA now if you want to. But if I could start DCAing below 25, if we get there, that's a gift, man. That's a gift. Especially because that's only 8 months away. So it's beautiful shit. Beautiful shit. Let's see. Chewy, what's going on, bro? What's going on, Chewy? All right. Besides that, man. Besides that, you said stocks are getting a slight bounce, but I think, you know, we've talked about this a few times. We're gonna fill this gap, right? This daily gap right here on the S&P. We're like 2% away from filling that gap. At this point, I think it fills. Same thing with the NASDAQ. NASDAQ already tapped its gap yesterday. But at the same point, once again, we're basically filling the gap and, you know, we probably have to fill the rest of this gap. And that's where I'm looking for a bounce on the S&P and the NASDAQ. Typically, you know, once these gaps get filled, you're going to have big players with buy orders right below that gap, right? So as it fills, I think the logical person is just going to wait for that to fill, set their buy order right at the bottom of that freaking gap right here. And that's where we get a bounce. That's where I'm looking for the S&P to get a bounce. But like a good bounce. I'm not talking like, oh, retrace, you know, like a good size bounce. And my question is, what does Bitcoin do as it fills those gaps, as it fills the gaps, right? Who knows? Who knows? A gap tap, exactly, Chewy. A gap tap. So my thinking is, I think stocks are getting close to a low. They might not be there exactly at this moment, but I think they're getting close to a low. That's kind of the target right here for the Nasdaq, and this is the target right here for the S&P. Right there. So I think we're getting close. I don't think we're there yet, though. So, let's see. Joey said, in other words, not even halfway through the boredom phase. Exactly, Joey. But I'll say this, like, this whole year, and you know, we've said this, like, typically Bitcoin goes up to the retracement levels. Still not too early for that to happen. I think, you know, when you see these big red weeks, you know, obviously it kind of changes your mind a little bit. But like this year, the year after the bear market's always the year where it's like none of the price action really matters. You know what I mean? It's more of an accumulation phase. It's not meant to be like this world-changing price action. You know what I mean? And we kind of already knew this. We already knew this, fellas. We knew 2023 we weren't going to new all-time highs.
Rant alert.
You know what I mean? Like, we already knew this. But then when they get red action, you know, it brings you down a little bit. You know? And I guess it is what it is. But we always knew that 2024, based off the previous cycles, that's when we should be expecting the big moves, is 2024, not 2023. Okay? We were thinking, okay, if Bitcoin's going to go up to the retracement levels, which would be like 40Ks, right? That's a possibility. But we were expecting all-time highs. You know what I mean? So it's fine, right? At the end of the day, it's fine, dude. Nothing's changed. And if you look at Bitcoin, I know it seems horrible. This is what I laugh at right now. It's like, everyone's like, oh my God, Bitcoin's doing so bad. But I talked about this yesterday, man, and I need to rant a little bit. Because it's getting crazy to me. The talk is crazy. If you look at where Bitcoin is, it's exactly where it should be. It's exactly where it should be at this time. Look at the 2019 cycle, the orange cycle here. We're exactly where we were at that cycle, at the exact point. But everyone acts like this cycle it's horrible. It's horrible. Now, don't get me wrong. We certainly could go a little bit lower here because we did break the bull market support band, which we said is not necessarily a good thing. But we're exactly where we should be, man, right? And we've said that 2023 is the year of accumulation, and we're just looking to stack, right? I know everyone wants to know where Bitcoin's going tomorrow. Does it really matter, though? Right? Think about this logically. Everyone wants to know where Bitcoin's going tomorrow, right? Or the next day, or the next day. Are you really going to take any action off that? No, you're not, man. We're not going to take any action off that. Yo, Edison. What's up, bro? That's what I'm saying, Tyler, man. That's what I'm saying, bro. What us Yankee Cowboys need us some freezer recycling? Yeah, man. The freezer recycling. Oh, the other thing. Anyways, guys. It's Monday today. Hope everyone kills it this week, man. Hope everyone kills it this freaking week. I think the most important thing, guys, the most important thing you can be doing right now is, it's great, right? We talk about buying more shit, buying more crypto, DCAing. The most important thing in that scenario is making sure you got the cash to be able to buy the dips, right? So I think the first lesson always comes from, don't go all in on every single buy, and make sure you got cash, some cash, on the sidelines to be able to take advantage of other people capitulating. Because there's nothing worse than seeing a capitulation, right? And I'm not saying, like, this could have been a capitulation here. There's nothing worse than seeing a capitulation and not having any cash to buy. You know what I mean? Or being the one who has to capitulate and other people buy your shit at low prices, right? There's nothing worse than that. So I think the first thing is always make sure you got some cash to be able to buy a dip, right? That's always the first thing. So this week, let's get after it. Let's do what we need to do. And like I said, we make this cash to be able to buy the freaking dip. That's always lesson number one. Lesson number 2 is don't invest more than you can afford to lose. Because then on the big capitulations, you're the one capitulating. While other people buying your shit low. You know what I mean? Exactly, Chip. Love your family, love your friends, enjoy your life, stay positive. I love it, Chip. I love it, man. I freaking love it. At this point, guys, it just comes down to patience, right? You shouldn't be feeling any emotions right now. It just comes down to having the patience. Can you get through it? Every time is going to be different, right? Every cycle, you're going to have the same people saying, this time's going to be different. This time's going to be different. This time's going to be different. Oh, we got a recession this time. Oh, we got this going on this time. We got this going on this time. Every cycle tends to play out the same freaking way. It's going to do hooply-hoos, like the second year of the cycle, right? The first year usually plays out the same, right? So bear market year tend to be down only horrible years, just like we had last year. And then the second year tends to kind of do whatever it wants to do, right? Sometimes it gets a little bit of a mid-cycle rally and then dumps. Sometimes it just goes sideways at the lows and then comes up, as you can see here. We tend to do around the same thing every single time, right? So now you're going to hear this time's different, this time's different, this time's different. You need to, at this point, it just comes down to patience, right? Not caring where the short-term price action goes. Buying low. Don't wait for bounces to buy, okay? And just sitting it out and waiting, man. Just waiting, having patience and just waiting this out because, listen, we can talk about where Bitcoin's going to go tomorrow or 2 days from now or 3 days from now. It doesn't really matter. It's all about, how we get up to this point here. You know what I mean? So, and that's not for another year from now, which we already knew. We already knew this. That the big run doesn't happen until after the halving. We already know this, man. So, it's just about waiting it out at this point. It's going to get boring. It's going to get hoopla and doopla. Maybe we get some crazy price action to the downside, right? Like a COVID crash or something. I don't know. Maybe we get some big pump off ETF news, which Tuesday we got the next potential date for the Grayscale SEC case. That's coming up on Tuesday. Those always get settled on Tuesdays and Fridays. That's coming up on Tuesday. So make sure you're watching out for that. Maybe we get some big pump based off that. Or a denial. You know what I mean? You never know. You're gonna get bullshit narratives to the upside, to the downside, more than likely, right? Before the halving, we probably end up somewhere in here. No matter what the news is, right? So that's what I'll basically say. Let's see. Why don't NVIDIA build a waterfall? Why doesn't NVIDIA build a waterfall? I don't know. When was NVIDIA earnings are this week, right? Are they today? I know NVIDIA earnings were this week. That'll be big for the AI space. So if you own AI stocks or AI cryptos, maybe this will be the thing that dumps render for me. Because I've been waiting lower for render, man. Render's down about 4% today. Maybe this is the thing. One of you guys will answer for me. This is the thing that'll get render down for me. Because render's an AI play for crypto. So if render starts dumping because of NVIDIA having a bad earnings or something, that would get render down to my buy level, man. Finally. What's going on, Bajor? Shout out to you, man. But Mason asked earlier, what alts will I touch and what alts will I avoid? Here's my take, and people will disagree with me, but it is what it is. I'm a big Ethereum guy. I think all the other L1s, and listen, don't get mad at me for saying this. I'm going to preface this, but people will disagree with me. It's okay to disagree with people, guys. All of a sudden in this world, when someone disagrees with you, everyone gets soft and be like, I don't like this guy because he disagrees. It's like, dude, it's okay to disagree with people. You know what I mean? Like, don't stop being soft. I'm a big ETH guy, okay? So I believe in Ethereum, okay? And anything built on top of ETH, right? So I love the ETH L2s. Why? Because big money already uses Ethereum, okay? And the L2s make it better to use Ethereum. So optimism, I think, we've talked about optimism so many times. Every time there's a dump, optimism is one of the ones that shows the best strength. Like, look at OP. I mean, look at the 3-day candles. You're basically like back up where you were before the big Bitcoin dump. So Bitcoin's still way lower than it was. OP's already back where it was before, right? So L2s I'm huge on. So OP, Arbitrum, I'm actually hoping ARB comes down back at $1. Mike, you're looking for ARB at $1, man. There you go. I'm hoping for ARB actually to continue a little bit down so I can add to ARB here. But yeah, OP, ARB. I'm a big Uniswap guy. I'm big on Uniswap, basically the DeFi exchanges. So Uniswap, AI, so Render. I want to keep adding to Render as it goes lower. Chainlink, because it actually, Chainlink is the most undervalued altcoin. I've said that multiple times. And there's like a lot of lower cap coins that I really, really like. I've been DCAing into SDEX, which is basically another DeFi exchange. Let's see. TIG, which is another basically DeFi exchange, it's a lower cap. It's like a GMX. But there's so many that I like, right? But I'll say this. I'm not that bullish on the other L1s. You know what I mean? I'm not that bullish on the other L1s, man. I think there's too many of them now. They all do the same thing ETH does. And the L2s on top of ETH make the other L1s pointless. And I know people will disagree with that. Is I know people love their AVAXs and Cardanos and all these ones. Okay? I know people will disagree. Don't be soft because I disagree. Right? Basically that. Santa said stop hitting the desk. I will hit the desk if I want to. Okay? This is my desk. I will hit the desk if I want to. Let's see. Mike said sometimes Jordan looks at the comments and it's like, what the hell can I pick out of this mess? Yeah, Mike, you are not wrong, man. Especially right now. Like, I remember back in the days there was like constructive stuff in the comments, like, Jordan, look at the 3-day chart on this, or, you know, Jordan, I have this idea. Now it's just like, but now the comment section just like, I farted. You know, like, man. It's just peak crypto right now, man. It's peak crypto boredom, which is fine. Yeah, we'll hit that desk. Mike said, but Jordan, they're all ETH killers. I disagree. Morning, everyone. What's going on, you new stepdad? Hope you're having a good Monday, man. Joey said, peak boredom and peak bull market. The comments are useless. Exactly. At least during the FTX crash, you had people trying to call bottoms. You had people like, I think the bottom's in. You had people saying, this is why I think the bottom's in. Very constructive live chat section. Now there's like nothing constructive in the live chat. Because I think everyone kind of knows where we're at. We're just at this phase that's just... and I've said this multiple times, guys, and I still come on and stream every day because I enjoy coming on and talking to you guys. But at the same point, I think a lot of the stuff you talk about now is so pointless. It's so pointless. Like, what do we care if Bitcoin's at 28, gets a 10% bounce to 28K, or dumps to 24K tomorrow? Who gives a shit? You ain't going to do anything based off that anyways. So why does it matter? You know? I think you could basically sum it up as, okay, if we go up, cool, let's go, man. If we go down, okay, look, we can DCA more at lower prices. Bam, there we go. We sum it up. But we all know we ain't going to a bull market in 2023, right? We've always known that. So, you know, at this point, it's a lot of just basic overall talk, right? And we're at this part of the cycle, which is typically the most boring part of the cycle. It can get not boring because we've seen capitulations at this point of the cycle. We actually saw a capitulation in the 2015 cycle. If you look at time-wise, so if, like, see the blue cycle here? So from the top of this cycle to the lows, you can see that actually we actually saw a second capitulation right during this week of that first cycle. Right here. Right? Which is funny enough. See where we are now. And then later down the line, like in the second cycle, 2019 cycle, we actually saw one that was about 6 months from now. That was the COVID crash. So we're kind of like right in between the time where the last two cycles, there was a bigger size downside move. Once again, one of them only didn't even make a new lower low. One of them did. Okay. But like I said, we should end up somewhere around 31K by the halving, whether we go up or down. If I sort of said this, even if we went to 40Ks, you guys know I was looking for a big dump after that, right? So 40Ks, back down here, and then up. I know some people think the opposite, right? Big down move, and then up. Either way, I think you end up in the same place. You know? I think that's why the chat is kind of the way it is. Because we all kind of know. It's just, you just waiting it out, right? Blaze Pizza's blazed him. Dude, Blaze Pizza? Oh! Blaze Pizza, man. Any type of pizza. Guys, yesterday I went to Panera. I haven't been to Panera in a long time. Guys, did you know at Panera they have a chicken tikka masala soup? It was good. It's basically chicken tikka masala without, like, it seems like it's like a healthy chicken tikka masala. I need to find out that recipe because that shit was good. It was basically chicken tikka masala without, like, the cream and all the bullshit they put in there. That was delicious. I would definitely recommend. I got the bread bowl with the chicken tikka masala soup. Man, I haven't eaten that much bread in years, but it was worth it. It was some good shit. I recommend. I think Panera is underrated, by the way. I think when you go to Panera, they have a lot of good things on that menu. Their cheddar broccoli soup is the best. Is the best. It is by far the best. Let's see. Siri said, thank you. That does make me feel better. Nice, man. Nice, man. Yeah, like I said, right now I just don't think you should have any emotions. There's just no emotions. You know? Like, you know, there's just no emotion at the moment. All right. Let's just hang out and talk to the chat for a little bit because I think we kind of get the point. We're kind of just letting the dust settle on Bitcoin right now. Right? Right now, we kind of got this little short-term range on the 4-hour time frame. Like, this doesn't tell me anything, man. This could go up or down here. Like, this doesn't tell me shit. So, we're kind of just waiting for something to happen in here. Jordan likes ketchup. I do like ketchup, man. Ketchup is the best condiment, in my opinion. It's better than mustard and relish. Easy. What does YFI even do? Chewy? What does YFI do? Price goes up and down. That's all I care about. But you're right, man. Let's see. John said, breaking news, Bitcoin is down. Well, I think everything's down today. Everything's down today. You know what I'm saying? Everything except OP is down. I don't know. There's something about OP, man. Every time there's these days where, like, the market dumps and it's just up. There's something about OP, bro. Like, the whole market's down right today. Is ketchup better than barbecue sauce? I didn't include barbecue sauce. It depends on what you're eating. If you're eating a hot dog or a ham or a cheeseburger, I'm taking ketchup. But if I'm going chicken or like pulled pork, I'm going barbecue sauce. Depends. As always, like any type of food, it depends. Spicy mustard. Spicy mustard is some good shit. Spicy mustard is some good shit. I like most condiments, to be honest. I'm not a big relish guy. I think what's an overrated condiment? I think I'll say this. I think ranch to me is overrated. Overrated. People act like ranch is this greatest thing. It's good, but it's not like I don't get pumped over ranch. It doesn't get me pumped. I don't know why. Same thing kind of thing with blue cheese. Blue cheese, okay, it's good, but it's not great. Except on buffalo chicken. It goes with buffalo chicken phenomenally. Mayo is nasty. I disagree. Because here's the thing with me. If I'm going to eat tuna fish, like mayo turns tuna fish into something basically, without mayo, tuna fish is nasty. You put mayo in it, it's one of the best things. So I can't say mayo is nasty for that one simple reason by itself. You know? Sriracha. Alex agrees on the ranch statement. Yeah, man. Listen, I don't not like ranch. I like ranch sometimes, but I never go out of my way to pick ranch. Blue cheese with the chunks in it. Yep. You get a nice big buffalo chicken tender and you dip it in that sauce and you get a big chunk of it. Oh my God. Now that's a different story. That's a different story. You get that big chunk of cheese in there. Man, that's some good shit. Guacamole is mid. Blaze, I used to agree with you. I used to agree with you that guac is overrated. I no longer agree with you now. Because guac is not about the flavor. Guac is about it's about the texture. It's a hard thing to explain, but the more you eat avocado and guac, Chef Maj over here saying,
You love my guac.
You probably don't make it the right way. That's why it's not good. Which is kind of true. But we got if you ever make guac, guys, guac is not just taking an avocado and squishing it up. Okay, it's not like mashed potatoes. You got to put salt in it. Put some onions in there. You know, even put a little hot sauce in there.
No.
Yeah, put some jalapenos in there. But like, it's not just taking an avocado and squishing it up. Like that's not guac. You know, a lot of people think like, oh yeah, guac is just smushed avocado. Like no, guys. It's not that. Now I will say this. I agree with guac in a certain way. I think if you're just dipping chips in guac, okay, you know, it's good. It's good. I prefer guac in a meal. So like, obviously, you guys know I love Chipotle. I prefer guac in a bowl or in a burrito. It like adds texture to the meal you already have. But if I'm only eating the guac alone, well, yeah, you make good guac, but people don't make guac as good as you. You know? You make like legendary guac.
Whenever I make guac, that's what my mom does.
Oh yeah, yours I could eat with the spoon. Because yours you put like crazy shit in there. The background talking Maya is the best part of the stream now. Let's see. Jordan prefers just the potato baked uncut. Oh, that was horrible. I don't want to be talking about that yesterday. That was horrible, man. That was something else. I'm still in disbelief about just the lack of barbecue places over here. It's amazing to me. Because barbecue food is arguably the best food. To me, it's between Mexican food and barbecue food. There's no short of Mexican places over here, let me tell you. But you cannot find any type of barbecue place anywhere over here, man. Besides Dallas Barbecue, which is the most bootleg place I've ever seen. Basically, in the front of their place, it shows these very lackluster ribs and then frozen drinks. And you know, okay, I'm not gonna go there. But you know, if what you're advertising is lackluster ribs and frozen drinks, like frozen margaritas, you know that their quality is not great. You know what I mean? Like, that shouldn't be the thing you're advertising, which is frozen margaritas and frozen drinks. Like, that's the last thing people care about. You know, no, not everyone. Yeah, Maya's like the guy, the two guys from the Muppets now in the back, making random comments. Jordan, just open your own barbecue place. Oh, my barbecue place would probably be trash too. I'd microwave everything. I'd microwave the ribs, pulled pork, everything, bro. Be better than that place though. Dallas barbecue. Dude, I could literally take raw ribs and microwave them. They'd probably be better than those ribs. Like, it was horrible, man. Food channel incoming. Sounds like a business opportunity. It does actually sound like one. It does sound like one, man. I agree. Oh, man. All right. What is it, 9/11? Oh, okay, great. Of course it's 9/11. But, anyways. Stocks, I guess, like I said, they're up slightly after hours. Dollar is down slightly after hours, but it's kind of going the opposite way now since we started the stream. Bitcoin doing nothing. We're back to the crab market, fellas. That was fun. We got this is how it's been. Like, this is how it's been for Bitcoin this whole year. You guys notice this? It's basically been like one big week of pump or dump. Actually, it's been like this since FTX. Actually, it's been like this. Take a peep at this, guys. Look at the price action that Bitcoin's had since September of last year. You guys notice this? Basically what happens is we get one big week of volatility, right? So like right here, one big dump, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 6, 7, basically 7 weeks of nothingness, and then a big dump, FTX, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks of nothingness, and then one big pump, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks of nothingness, and then a big pump, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 weeks of nothingness, 1 week of big pump, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks of nothingness, one big dump. Man. So that's kind of been the last 12 months. It's just like nothing, 1 week of something, nothing. So, like, what's funny is that if this was the one big week of something, are we setting up for another 7, 8 weeks of nothing? That wouldn't surprise me whatsoever, actually. You know, that's kind of how it's been, right? Maybe this time is going to be different. I guess the one time I'll say maybe this time is different because the Bitcoin historical volatility index, which we know dropped to the lowest, the 24-hour one actually dropped to the lowest that it's ever been in the history of Bitcoin. Now it's coming up. So based off history, we should be expecting extreme volatility from this point. It doesn't always have to mean that you go in the initial direction that you go in, but volatility should be picking up. So I don't know. On one end, we've gone through this 1 week and then nothingness for like 2 months at least. On the other hand, we have volatility that went to the lowest it's ever been, shooting up, and typically it comes back up to the top here. So on the other hand, you're expecting extreme volatility. If I had to say, right, what I think is going to happen, this don't take this as what's going to happen, because I've said this right now. It's market's kind of a shit show. There's so much stuff going on in the world. It's so hard to know what's going to happen next. Bitcoin volatility. Let me bring up the 7-day one. Yeah, this one's still shooting up like a freaking madman. Look at that. Boom. I don't know, man. If I had to guess, I actually don't think we're going to see chop I don't think we're going to see chop. I think we're either going to see something's going to happen here. We're either going to see this capitulation continue, but it's going to be like this thing that like breaks the 50, gets everyone super scared, and it's going to be that type of candle that marks a low. Either that's where like this capitulation just continues down, or there's a white swan that comes out, right? What's the white swan? I don't know. Sometimes the black swan can be the white swan, to be honest. Like I said, the COVID crash, we look at it as a black swan. It was actually a white swan because it was actually the thing that caused us to go to all-time highs, right? So, you know, my thinking is, if this does come down and test this trend line, I think that's going to be the type of candle that marks a low. Because I'm talking like big fear, brutal, just absolute. You're going to start hearing calls for 8K and shit again. That's what that would be. And based off the history of the volatility, when we come this low, we typically see a little bit higher. So I would expect to see some more volatility in the market. And I don't think that's it for the volatility. Because I'm looking at all the times we went this low, we actually went up at least to here, which means that I would expect us to have at least another week, 2 weeks of extreme volatility. So we'll see, right? I think it's going to be interesting. It's going to be very, very interesting, man. Blaze said the white swan is brilliant. The white swan. Ah, man, we need some type of swan. Some type of swan, man. Pelagic! What's up, buddy? My good friend Pelagic here. One of these times an ETF will get approved when we least expect. Exactly, Mike. The BlackRock, the first BlackRock, that's the date. So the dates I would watch for like big events, here's the dates I would watch. So basically for the next 3 weeks, every Tuesday and Friday, look out for the SEC versus Grayscale case to be solved. That will be a big one because we know Grayscale's suing the SEC because they think that why are we not approving the spot ETF, right? And if Grayscale wins, you should see a lot of these spot ETFs be approved. These always get solved on Tuesdays and Fridays. So for every Tuesday and Friday going forward, make sure we're looking out for SEC versus Grayscale. Last week was the average time it usually takes for these to get solved. So that's why kind of everyone's on their edge of their seat waiting for this one to get solved. And then I think, was it September 2nd, I believe, is the first BlackRock ETF deadline. And then it's the BlackRock and the Valkyrie one. So the two biggest companies in the world here. I believe is the... I didn't spell that right. Who cares? That's kind of... Those are kind of the two things I'm waiting for right now. And then for the bearish shit, obviously you could make a huge list about why people are bearish right now. But the bullish list is very short. Very, very short. For the bullish list, I would actually be watching these two things, and then any type of like banking collapse. A banking collapse is bullish. You might think, why? Well, because that was the whole reason Bitcoin was created. Also in March when that happened, stocks dumped, Bitcoin pumped. And any type of banking collapse causes the Fed to print more money, which causes assets to go up. So as we kind of go on here, and you got, like I said, you got credit card debt at all-time highs. You got student loans starting to get rolled out again, where a lot of these students that weren't paying their loans the last few years are now going to have to pay them again while credit card debt is already at all-time highs. This is the type of thing that, if it happened, initially would be bearish, but it actually would end up being bullish over the course of the long term. So, yeah, those are the things I'd watch right now. As far as white swans, black swans, you can name a million different things. You can name like World War III, recession, inflation going back up, Binance failing. You know, I'm sure the Tether FUD will come out again. It always does. The Tether FUD is always marks the low. Anytime people start FUD and Tether, that's the bottom. What else? What else? You can go down the list. People will say banking crisis is a black swan. I'm forgetting a million different things, guys. Give me some more possible black swans. There's too many of them, bro. We got these wildfires. People are saying aliens are attacking. Climate change. Apocalypse from these fires. Like, you can go down the freaking list. AI. You know, there's a million reasons. Shit, man. You don't have enough room on the screen for the bears. True, dude. There's so many different things. Shit, dude. Satoshi selling BTC. that would be horrible. I honestly, if Satoshi sold his BTC, you would probably see your 8K Bitcoin. But, you know, luckily there's no signs of that happening. At least at the moment. Alien invasion. Let's see. Joe Rogan said aliens are humans from the future. I think that's totally logical. I think that makes perfect sense. I forgot about that. There's a new COVID coming. You say you can't even fit the bearish things on the screen. Jordan, I can't find the AI apocalypse video. Now I think AI pulled it to hide it from us. What do you mean you can't find it, Mike? Hold on. I'll find it for you in 2 seconds. What do you mean you can't find the AI apocalypse video? You're lying to me. Did you guys watch that, by the way? You need to watch that. One of the better videos I watched in a long time. The Y files. AI apocalypse. Dude, I typed it in 2 seconds. Just type in the Y files AI apocalypse. It pops up. Mike's causing FUD. But if you watch that video, you're gonna understand why AI is dangerous and it's not like this thing that everyone thinks is gonna help you. Initially, it will be, but just watch the damn documentary, man. It is a fantastic video. That guy makes fantastic videos overall. Fantastic videos, and I love his little fish. Student debt, car market crash, business real estate on the verge of collapse, fart jar market crash. Oh yeah, I forgot about the impending housing crash, which I actually think is eventually going to happen. I think the housing market is it's just not sustainable. It's not sustainable, man. It's not sustainable. The old people can afford the prices that they're at right now. But once the old people start going, you know what I mean? Like, the average 20-year-old ain't affording a $600,000, $700,000 house, which if it continues at the same pace, that's what the average house price is going to be in like 2 years. It's just not sustainable, man. You know what I mean? Hecklefish. Exactly, Drunk Bear. Hecklefish is great, man. He's great. It has to crash. And by crash, I'm not talking about 2008 type of crash where you see house prices dump. I don't even know how much they dumped at that time. But I'm talking about more of just like you kind of stall out, right? You don't necessarily have to crash, right? There's two, like we always talk about this. There's two different types of corrections. There's a time correction where you just let things catch up, and then there's obviously a crash correction, right? You could just see something like this, where housing prices have been parabolic for a while, and then you just see them kind of stall out for a while, like this, and that's a form of correction as you see, wages and salaries catch up to what the home prices should be. Something like that is due, man. Just not sustainable. It's not sustainable. Airbnb bubble is going to pop. Housing market is going to crash. I agree, Drew. I agree. That was the craze 2 years ago. during COVID, man, everyone started buying Airbnb properties and renting them out. It's the most oversaturated thing. You know what I mean? And a lot of the people that did that, I mean, obviously, if you got a good location, you're good. But the problem is, if there's so many properties on Airbnb, a lot of these people literally bought those homes only to rent them out on Airbnb. They can't actually afford them, right? They can't actually afford to pay the mortgage on those homes. They're basically banking on the Airbnb income to be able to pay off those, right? To be able to pay off their mortgages. But if there's too many homes on Airbnb, obviously they're not going to be able to afford those, and you kind of start a big chain reaction because there's too many homes on the damn website. And you could say the same thing with rent. Shit. Like, I don't know how people make it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't get it. Because if you look at the stats in the U.S., they say the median income for someone that lives in the U.S. is $24,000 a year. Someone who's making $24,000 a year ain't affording rent. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even know how people make it by nowadays. How is the median income $24K? But then you look around and rent is that much alone a year, right? Unless you're living with a whole damn family, It's crazy, dude. It's not like I said, it's not sustainable. Eventually something will happen. It doesn't mean it's going to happen right this second. But something's going to happen. Everyone who could afford a home purchase homes that are not generating revenue. Facts. Well, that's the thing. A lot of people only purchase the homes not to have. They only purchase them so they can generate revenue off those. But if they're not generating revenue off those, they're not making enough money at work to pay off that mortgage. They're going to have to liquidate that, which causes, like I said, causes a big chain reaction. I do work in so many homes that are Airbnbs now. Yeah. Let's see. Median rent in New York City is like $4K. Oh yeah, the rent in New York City is crazy. It's insane. It's insane. If you can find anything under $2K in New York, you found a decent price. Drew said, "Yeah, I don't understand how people get by on $20 an hour." Yeah, as I say, like they say, most people have to have roommates now, right? That's just the reality of the situation. Minimum wage here is $15. I feel lucky to make $20 and get overtime. Drew said, "I do hope a housing crash happens." See, I don't like saying that stuff, right? Because okay, and I always know this. It's the reality of the world. For every winner, there has to be a loser, right? It's just the way the world works. The world's not this utopia where everyone wins. And I understand that. But even I have a hard time saying, like, I want a housing crash, It just doesn't feel moral. But I also know that you can't, in markets, and any type of markets, you can't have morals. You can't. You got to be selfish. You got to be selfish. You might know someone that's balls deep in housing, but if you want to get a house at a good price, you're going to want that crash, but it might hurt someone That's just the reality of the situation, It is what it is. Drew said, "You've had time to take profits." Oh yeah, I mean, the housing market, you've had years to take profits, Years, man. It's those damn rich men north of Richmond. You don't make money, you take it. That is true, Todd. That is true. It's the reality of the world. Once you understand that, it's kind of like, it makes you think about the world in a different way. It is true. You don't make money, you take it from people. In markets, right? If you buy Bitcoin at 25K and you sell it at 30, what do you think you're just making that money out of nowhere? No, you're taking it from the people FOMOing at 30K. You know what I mean? They're buying it from you. So and that's just how it works. If you buy a house low, right? Say a housing market crashes 30% or some shit. You buy a house 30% lower, guess what? You're buying it from someone who had to sell it and was forced to sell it 30% lower. That's just the reality of the world, you know? Soon, Wayne, soon. Wayne said, search YouTube for Rich Men of Richmond. Great song. Is it? The rich men of Richmond, the rich men of Richmond. That's what I picture. I picture it like some, one of those British songs. Over 28 million views so far. That's how you know a video is a good video. You look at basically how much time has elapsed since it was uploaded, and then you look at the view ratio. That's how you know it's a good video. Chewy said, I'm all in real estate. I hope it crashes too. Chewy wants it to crash. And he's all in real estate. Oh, man. Larry said, wait for those commercial property to come due, and the buildings are empty in cities. It's in the trillions. Dude, you already see that over here. I feel like the more time goes by, the more I see empty, like big, empty.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, dude. There's these things I don't understand. There is these big, huge buildings that you know that they're paying 20, 30K a month to keep that shit. And it's like some of these places have been empty, you know, for years. It's like, dude, you're just throwing away cash. It's crazy, and you're gonna see more of that. The commercial real estate thing that's a huge bubble. Why? COVID changed that, right? Because since COVID, a lot of businesses let people work from home, right? So what's the need for all these commercial things? You know, COVID also made a lot of people who work from home. What they used to do is rent out somewhere, right? And go work there. Now, since it's COVID, a lot of those places closed. They had to work from home, and they just got used to working from home. So they have no use for all these office buildings and stuff, you know. And especially if it's something else like that happens again, which that's the rumor, that might be the thing that pushes it over the edge. Because a lot of those places are already empty, you know. Clint has been talking about a commercial real estate crash. Yeah, people have been talking about that since COVID. Which it makes sense logically when you think about it, right? Drew said commercial real estate is going to crash and they will turn those buildings into apartments. And that would be the perfect recipe for an equilibrium, right? Like, let's be honest. Making workers go into work nowadays, it's just sort of like this old thing, right? You have to dress up in a shirt and tie and go into the office, right? That's just such a old way of thinking. It's stupid in my opinion, right? And that would be perfect, because if they make a lot of these commercial real estate, Bitcoin's kind of just chilling, by the way, guys, and that's why I'm not really talking about it. But if you look at the commercial real estate and all those places close and turn into apartments, like Drew said, what is that going to do? There's more supply of apartments. That makes prices go down, right? And there you go. You got your housing crash. And by crash, I mean prices going down, right? If there's more supply of apartments, rent goes down, right? And then we're all back to square one, which I think it was everyone wants right now, is back to square one, where rent prices make sense compared to what people actually make. Because right now, it don't make no sense. Todd said people don't work as hard at home. I think it depends on the person. I think it depends on the person. You know? But there's also ways that companies could adapt to that. They can have, you know, make a damn checklist for people to have to finish by the end of the day, and people will do the damn checklist. I think companies are just lazy. You know what I mean? Like, they don't want to be making checklists for people to complete every day. They just hope that people do the work. No, you gotta make sure people are doing the damn work. Let's see. I could sell my home on a 30% drop and still make profit. The equity of HODL. Oh, yeah. I mean, dude, if you got your home years ago, you don't have to worry about that. I think the only people that have to worry about a real estate crash is people who bought something in the last, like, basically post-COVID. Because post-COVID's been a bubble, right? If you bought your home post-COVID, that's when you start to get a little bit nervous. If you buy a house for $500K, it drops 30%, right? I mean, you're talking about the value of your house going down 30%. You do the math, you know. So that's probably the only way you would technically worry, right? Because the problem with that, you might be thinking, okay, it goes down 30%, it'll bounce like any type of asset would. But we got to understand is, if you bought something for $500K, it drops 30%, and then you're paying massive interest because interest rates are high. What happens if you can't afford that house? Then if you try to sell it, it's worth less. Whereas normally your house would be worth more, so you have some equity. Then you're having negative equity in the damn house. That's where that becomes an issue. Where if you're forced to sell that shit because you can't afford the mortgage, you're screwed, basically, you know? Jamie said, I'm depressed. Guys, why are we... Don't start with the I'm depressed stuff. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. Here's what I'll say about that, okay? We're men, right? Most of us are men in here. Guys, sometimes people need some tough love. Here's what I'll say, okay? And I don't mean for this to be not caring about people's feelings and stuff like that, but you go back to the history, guys, people didn't care about men being depressed. I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm not trying to be a dick. But back in the day, you had to suck it up, buttercup, and go out and do what you need to do. You had to go find your food, hunt. If you didn't find food, you'd be dead. Okay? And that's not trying to be being a dick. Sometimes we gotta grow some damn balls and do what we gotta freaking do, right? You don't got time in this world to be down. And like I said, I'm not trying to be a dick, because this goes against what everyone says nowadays. Oh, we gotta talk about it. We are men. We have balls, okay? Suck it up. Do what we gotta do, okay? Know in this world that the only people that really care about you are your parents. No one else really. And I'm just being a realist. I'm just being a damn realist, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm just being a realist. It is what it is. You go back 2,000 years ago, you think someone cared that you were down because you're 20% down on an investment? They'd laugh. They said, bro, I haven't even eaten in 5 days. You know? Let's go, man. Start today. If you're feeling this way, start today. Stop thinking that way, because if you think that way, you're going to keep being that way. Do what you got to do. What makes you happy? Does completing goals make you happy? Does creating stuff make you happy? Does doing certain activities make you happy? Do stuff that makes you happy. And most of the time, as men, what makes us happy is actually working and completing goals and doing stuff that, you know, that we feel like we're building something. So go out and build something, man. So I'm serious. Like I said, I'm not trying to be a dick, but if someone's like, I'm depressed, and then you have people just coddling them and being like, it's okay, that doesn't help. Sometimes you need some tough love, you know? And that's what I gotta say, man. Do what you need to freaking do. You know what I'm saying? You got no time in this world to be depressed. That's all I gotta say. That's my rant for today.
Rant alert.
That's my rant for today, man. Like I said, keep your chin up, bro. But you got to step up, and you need to do what you need to do, man. You know what I'm saying? Come on, there's like 3 women in here too. Yeah, okay, you know, we're not going to go down that road, but it is what it is. Mike said, all right, we know Jordan's new job, motivational speaker. Let's go, man. Let's go. It's Motivational Mondays, fellas. It's Motivational Mondays. Brian said, truest statement ever made. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Brian, man. It's 2023. Women have balls too. Okay, we're not going down that road. But maybe a different day we'll talk about that. But we're not going down that road today. Exactly, Mirth, man. Let's see. Rant alert. All right, yeah, we gotta do another rant alert. There we go. You are not allowed to say this in 2023. You're not, but you know, sometimes you gotta do it, man. You know, sometimes you gotta do it. Work and put 5% in crypto every week. Yeah. I mean, like most of the people who made think about it this way. Most of the people who made generational money did it in two ways. Either investing or starting a business. And most of the time, even when they started a business, they made most of their money through investments, right? Whether it's buying real estate, stock market, or nowadays, right? I mean, crypto's still new, but still crypto too, right? So again, this kind of goes to what I said earlier. The thing you should be focusing on right now is just making as much money as you can, okay? So you can be able to buy other people's capitulation, right? Because these are the times, we've talked about all this stuff, right? Credit card debt, student loan debt, all coming back, right? These are the times where we're going to see people being forced to capitulate. You want to be in the position where you can buy other people's capitulation, right? So the best thing you can do right now, like I said, is put your head down and just do whatever you need to do. And, you know, you might have to make some sacrifices in doing that, but being able to buy other people's capitulation, man. Because capitulation brings opportunity. Some people get scared of capitulation. I love capitulation, right? I would die. Actually, no, I wouldn't die. But I would be very intrigued if there was another like COVID crash scenario, right? I would honestly, that would be the opportunity of a lifetime, right? Just like 2020 was. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Blaze, man. Shout out to Blaze, bro.
Strap up. We're going to the moon.
Motivational line cook speaker. Oh, man. Let's go. Murph said, I'm going to sell Obama phones. Oh, my God. Don't be saying that, Murph. Drunk Bear said, heading off to Rome, Georgia. Drunk Bear, I was like, damn, he's going on vacation to Rome, bro. I'm jealous. New drinking word, capitulation. Exactly. Shout out to Blaze, bro. Appreciate that, man. All right, guys. Let's check on the stock market one more time. So stock market futures are still up, but they're kind of coming down. Stock market opened about 15 minutes ago. So far in the open, looks like we're coming up a little bit. So we'll see where that ends up. I still think we're going to come and fill this gap. So I think we got a little bit lower to go on the S&P and the NASDAQ, which honestly, like, NASDAQ starts coming back into these levels. I'm looking at getting some more of my tech stocks once the NASDAQ come and fill this gap. And then besides that, Bitcoin, still kind of seeing what Bitcoin's going to do here, right? We're kind of just waiting, as we like to say, waiting for the dust to settle, guys. Let's wait for the dust to settle and do what we need to do. But, you know, if Bitcoin bounces from here, great. If it doesn't, well, think about it this way, kind of like we've been talking about. You probably weren't going to sell anyways this year. Most of us are in crypto for bigger gains than 30%, 40% gains. So look at any type of move down as an opportunity. And I'm going to be watching, like, if we do move down again, I'll be watching this trend line very, very carefully. Okay? Very, very carefully. Once again, it's time to have patience. It's time to just put your head down and do what you need to do. All right? I'm out of here. Peace. Catch you guys tomorrow. Same time. We'll call it same time tomorrow. Have a fantastic day, guys. I'm out of here. Peace. Oh, I can't find the end button. There it is. Later, guys.